On the EA exam, they'll test that tax-exempt doesn't automatically mean 501(c)(3). Lots of organizations are exempt under other 501(c) categories. The big practical issues are which application form they use, what activities they're allowed to do, especially lobbying and politics, and whether donors get a charitable contribution deduction. Here's the clean form matchup. Form 1023 is for 501(c)(3) charities. Form 1024A is only for 501(c)(4) social welfare organizations. And Form 1024 is the everything else application for many other 501A exempt groups, like business leagues and fraternal organizations. Also note the process detail. 1024 and 1024A are submitted online through pay.gov. Now, the common non-501(c)(3) categories you should recognize. 501(c)(4) is social welfare. Think civic leagues. 501(c)(6) is business leagues and chambers of commerce. 501(c)(7) is social and recreation clubs like country clubs. And 501(c)(19) is veterans organizations with a membership test. At least 75% must be past or present armed forces members. Donation deductibility is where students get tricked. Gifts to 501(c)(3) organizations are generally deductible as charitable contributions if the donor itemizes and the other rules are met. But contributions to 501(c)(4) social welfare organizations generally are not deductible as charitable contributions. The policy reason is key. 501(c)(4s are allowed to lobby and can engage in political campaign activity, unlike 501(c)(3). Because of that deductibility split, big organizations sometimes use a dual entity structure. One entity is a 501(c)(3) foundation that does education and charitable programs and can receive deductible gifts. The other entity is a 501(c)(4) that does the heavy lobbying and policy work, funded by membership dues and non-deductible contributions. The ACLU and ACLU Foundation are the classic example. Quick exam trap. Exempt doesn't mean no compliance. Many exempt organizations still file annual returns like Form 990, and some file 990T if they have unrelated business taxable income. And even churches, often exempt without applying, still need an EIN and still handle payroll taxes if they have employees. The IRS cares about identification and reporting, even for exempt entities. Which of the following organizations could not receive approval for tax-exempt status under IRC 501(c)(3)? A local chapter of the Salvation Army, a partnership for educational research, a college alumni association, or a local boys and girls club. Think about what legal forms are allowed for a 501(c)(3). The correct answer is the Partnership for Educational Research. A 501(c)(3) has to be organized as a corporation, a trust, or an unincorporated association, not a partnership or sole proprietorship. The partnership option is tempting because the activity sounds charitable, but the entity form fails the organizational test. Every exempt organization must have a what? A charitable purpose, an employer identification number, an annual information return, or an affirmation letter from the IRS. Think about what the IRS uses to track an organization, even if it has no employees. The correct answer is an employer identification number, an EIN. Exempt organizations generally need an EIN for federal tax administration, filings, banking, and IRS correspondence. An annual return isn't required for every exempt organization, and an IRS determination letter isn't required for all categories, like many churches.